Hello everyone, welcome on in. I'm Velvet. Thanks for joining me today for this speed build of a split level starter home. And this build is for the Newcrest Community Collab hosted by Rainbow Cat Mom. Thank you, Rainbow, for this fabulous collab. And I hope you guys enjoy the build. I hope you're well today. And remember, if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, a like and comment below if you've got the time. And yeah, let's get into this fabulous speed build. So it is a starter home. So that means you're on a budget. We need to be able to start with a sim, 20,000 simoleons, be able to buy the lot, which is 1,500 simoleons, because we are building on the Comfy Cubby lot in Newcrest, 20 by 15 lot. And that leaves us with 18,500 simoleons to build with. Eek! I find with starter homes, the most important thing for starter homes, for me anyway, is the exterior. Because I feel like as your Sims sort of play on, they get a job or they get a hobby or they're running around finding things, collectibles and making money from rags to riches sort of style, that they've got this lovely house, but, they can add to things as they go along. So they can buy the expensive TV, they can buy a really nice computer, they can upgrade all the items in the house and add like little bits of clutter. They can add a dresser, they can add curtains, they can add all those things as they go. But having the exterior there, the exterior of the house, like kind of done, and then they can move in and just add as they go. I feel like that's the most important thing with the starter. So I feel like if you're investing in money with a starter house, that the outside is probably one of the best places to invest. You've also got to remember that you have to have your basics. So you've got to have a bed, you've got to have your shower, toilet, sink, and you've got to have your kitchen as well. So, those are the basics that you should have in a starter house to get a sim really started out in the world. And those can be a little bit expensive. So, you've got to weigh that up, along with the cost of, how much it is going to cost to do the outside. Now, this is a split level home, so it is a little bit trickier than your usual everyday home because, we're adding in terrain manipulation, which is never the easiest thing to do in The Sims. And I don't use the tool mod for building, or I'm not at this point in time anyway. And so I'm doing this just using the BB Move Objects cheat. Now, placing rocks like this is definitely a lot easier with the tool mod because you can raise and lower it whatever level you like, I believe, without worrying too much about the terrain affecting the height. Whereas you can sort of see me here, I'm starting to, spread out the height of the terrain here, and it's actually affecting the lift of the rocks, which is a little frustrating. So it does require, when you're doing something like this, a lot of fussing around as far as manipulating the terrain, how you want it to look, covering up the things that you don't want people to see. Being honest, builder talk, hide what you don't want people to see, right? Hide it behind bushes and things. So yeah, it did take a lot of figuring out, and that was probably the lengthiest part of the build, was figuring out the rocks and the landscaping. Because I kind of felt like, I didn't want just like a random hill off to the side. I felt like we wanted to kind of build it into rocks on the side. I thought that would look quite cool. But yeah, it was a matter of just figuring that out and just making it kind of work, and also without going overboard. I did use debug plants for this because there was no way I was going to be able to have plants as well as build the house as a starter home. I sometimes don't use debug with starter homes because I feel like, obviously debug is a zero value. And it doesn't add to the value of your house. So it's kind of, at the end of the day, just purely decoration. But when you think about it, all the landscaping is pure decoration. It adds no value when it's debug, but, when it's not debug, it does add value. So that's kind of the only, I guess, point to having plants that you pay for, is like, when you sell the house, you get the value back. But when you sell the debug stuff, you get no value. It's just purely aesthetics. But anyway, I decided that I wanted to make a pretty home. This is for a collab, so I didn't go limited pack. I just wanted to... Oh, no, I did go limited pack on this, didn't I? I just wanted to go all out and have as much as I could in this. Let's see. Split level starter home. Oh, yeah, this is a limited pack build as well. So this is Businesses and Hobbies, Horse Ranch Growing Together in Eco Lifestyle. So 4 packs plus base game. That's 3 packs, Velvet. 4 packs. 4 packs. 4 packs plus base game. So yeah, I did actually do limited packs, but I did yeah, I did delve into debug to get the landscaping, but it's just with rocks and plants basically, for the most part. I don't think I used any decorative debug on the inside. I didn't go that far. But yeah, this is for the Newcrest Community Collab hosted by Rainbow Cat Mom. And this is basically us rebuilding Newcrest. We did a like a university style collab where we did like classrooms. And this is kind of, we did that in part of Newcrest, and then we're extending out and just filling out the rest of Newcrest now as this secondary collab. So like a secondary collab to the first collab, which I thought was a really cool idea. So not only do we create this classroom and this campus for learning, but this is kind of all the housing around that as well. So there's going to be like dorms and community venues and that sort of thing. And I've done a couple of I've done a starter home, and I think I'm doing a build on the interior of one of the dorms, I think, as well. So a couple of builds, but this is just the main standalone build that I did. And I really like the colors of this. You know what? I really like the colors of this. I wanted to just do browns. I don't often do just browns. It's normally browns mixed with something. So this is just brown. I was initially going to do a garage underneath, and I was like, oh no, I kind of need that underneath area for the bedroom. So yeah, so this is what I'm kind of doing down there. It's like a converted garage down the bottom, where that's the bedroom and the bathroom, and then you go upstairs and you've got the kitchen, dining, and living space. So that's how I divided it up, and I think that would be really cute, like student housing. I think for maybe a student couple would be quite good, or a student single could go in there as well. Someone who maybe has a little bit more money than the average student who can afford their own freestanding housing, perhaps. I didn't make it run down or anything, so yeah, it's definitely a little bit more fancier than your usual student accommodation as such. But it is pretty basic on the inside. I mean, how much have I got left? About 7,000 simoleons left on here. I'm just doing the bathroom now. We've got a carpeted house, and we've got stairs, windows. I mean, as I said, I'm throwing most of the money into the exterior and then just doing the basics on the interior. That's what a starter house is. And sometimes that's hard to accept because you want to make it as pretty and cool as possible, but you just can't with a starter house. I mean, it's just really hard to. You just don't have the money for it. You can't have it like filled with beautiful clutter and making it look like super lived in, or having all the wonderful things like a TV and a computer. You just don't get that. I did actually end up being able to afford a computer in here, so there is a PC, but there's no TV. But there is a fireplace, so you can watch the fire. So that's something. But yeah, I couldn't afford a TV as well as a PC. I mean, that was pushing it a bit much. But we got a nice double bed that can be upgraded. And yeah, it's a fireplace, decent sized kitchen. And I even did like a little dining table space as well. And a little study area too, which is, I feel like, necessary because we're in a student kind of area. And that's the idea behind the collab, is it is sort of, based around our campus and an extended campus kind of town, which I thought was a really cool idea. And I managed to even afford curtains. Like, I afforded like a little bit of clutter. So we've got like some plants and we've got some curtains, which isn't too bad in a starter home, I got to say. And the fact that I got a computer in there as well, I think, I did all right for a starter home. It looks pretty good. Like, kind of empty, but we got stuff in it. So that's the main thing we got. I think I even managed some seating outside and a coat rack. So there you go. Anyway, I'm going to go. Leave you there. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.